Ever wonder how far Americans will go to protect a tomato patch, a Wi-Fi beam, or even the northern lights? From mozzarella air cannons to karaoke tornado sirens, these 101 neighbor wars prove love thy neighbor is purely optional, and the petty possibilities are limitless. 1. Your tree is breathing my air, screamed a Houston retiree while waving laminated oxygen flow charts in small claims court, demanding 50 grand from the neighbor's oak for stealing atmospheric rights. The judge suggested a rake. The retiree suggested NASA intervene. Suburban climatology has never been spicier. 2. Picture Portland at 3 a.m. Kale steam versus mesquite brisket smoke billowing over the fence like rival Hogwarts houses battling for scent supremacy. Two dads racked up HOA fines for olfactory assault, yet the squirrels, now smelling of barbecue and vitamins, were ultimate casualties. 3. Beep, bop, boop. A Tampa woman dialed 911 62 times claiming her upstairs Roomba mocked her in Morse code, urging clean thy life. Officers detained the robot for forensic audio, proving the only judgment came from her own echo chamber, and maybe the cat. 4. Nutmeg anarchist. Thanksgiving dinner detonated when rural Kansas in-laws clashed over pumpkin spice decor start dates. One draped August with cinnamon banners, the other insisted October only. Grandma baked a spice-free truce pie so neutral even Switzerland blushed. 5. Breaking headline. Wall of LaCroix halts Arizona sunrise. A Scottsdale man stacked 8 feet of empty pastel cans to shame a neighbor who mocked his basic seltzer palate. Sunlight refracted like a disco ball into morning traffic. Code enforcement handed out sunglasses and citations. 6. Ever hear a copyright fight with 6 legs? A Brooklyn designer hit a neighboring beekeeper with a DMCA notice, claiming the hive's buzz plagiarized her lo-fi ambient track. Bees refused to sign licensing deals. Spotify streams for the remix, Cease and Debuzz, went through the roof. 7. Snow Day art attack. Before dawn, a mobile retiree spray-painted cartoon turkeys across pristine white drifts, declaring fresh powder public canvas. The neighbor retaliated with a leaf blower wall of snow so high kids built a sled ramp and inadvertently brokered peace through gravity. 8. Dawn in Alabama sounds like lawnmower banjos when 2 retirees choreograph zero-turn duels, each pattern claiming optimal grass morale. City Hall created Apology Mowing Tuesday, forcing them to manicure municipal medians together. Grass never looked so guilty. 9. 404 neighbor not found. A Seattle coder projected giant red error screens on the house next door every time his Wi-Fi hiccuped. They renamed their router Stop Stealing Our Bandwidth. Turns out a possum was chewing the cable. Only the possum enjoyed the drama. 10. Imagine shoveling half a driveway then stopping dead. Voila! New Jersey's own ice curtain. Spreadsheet zealots on one side, eyeball it traditionalists on the other. A 4-foot glacier ran down the middle till spring, giving Amazon drivers a philosophy lesson about division. 11. Your porch light kills art? An Austin hipster served a cease and desist on recycled vinyl sleeves, claiming LEDs ruined his vintage film vibe. Neighbor answered with neon pink, ultraviolet, then strobe. Street turned ravecore, Instagram loved it. Hipster sobbed into Polaroids. 12. Spreadsheet of screams? A Salt Lake City neighbor logged every tag you're at shriek. 47 pages, billed at $5 per screech. Parents countersued for defamation of playtime. Judge prescribed earplugs and adult hobbies. 13. Jurassic retaliation. Detroit man planted googly-eyed inflatable dinos facing an overgrown hedge. Hedge owner countered with inflatable meteors. Tour buses arrived. Universal Studios sent a polite, nice try. Hedge still untrimmed, plastic T-Rex still judging. 14. 4:07 a.m. Sprinkler mist kisses a meditating window. 4:15 a.m. Industrial windscreens rise like castle walls. Louisville neighbors now weaponize humidity in a duel meteorologists call microclimate mayhem. 15. Academic citation wars. Two Boston professors leaned on the same fence for lecture ideas, each claiming footnote royalties. Students now reference Fence 2025 in papers. Tenure boards develop migraines. 16. Whale songs versus star lasers. Rural Maine transformed when a lobsterman pumped ocean calls inland, and his astronomy-obsessed neighbor answered with sweeping green beams. Local gulls filed a formal complaint in shrieks. 17. Jackpot Symphony. Las Vegas magicians' rabbits pounded exercise wheels at 5 a.m. in the name of rehearsal secrecy. Night shift pit boss retaliated with a slot machine ringtone truck. Rabbits now sprint to the sound of faux riches echoing down the strip. 18. NASA's December tweet, "Why is Phoenix glowing?" Two households escalated Christmas light warfare until one installed a gas generator, the other solar batteries. Utility bills spiked. Holiday cheer reached low Earth orbit. 19. "You're stealing our breeze," cried a Minneapolis couple as neighbors' turbine spun. They set up truck-sized fans to reclaim airflow. After a 4-digit power bill, physics remained undefeated. 20. Steelers black and gold met Browns orange and brown on a shared retaining wall. Rain blended colors into streaks of vomit beige, the only shade both fan bases could hate equally. City declared it abstract art. Rivalry raged on. 21. Zen garden under bubble siege. Denver toddler's bubble machine floated iridescent orbs over amethyst grids. Yogi declared toxic foam karma. Toddler popped bubbles cool as a mini Buddha. Enlightenment unlocked at age 3. 22. Tomatogate in Fresno. 3-pound freak fruit sparked accusations of photosynth doping. Agronomist referee declared both tomatoes fruit and the feud fruitless. Pride remains bruised. Sauce still delicious. 23. Prince vinyl allegedly scratched by sympathetic vibration from Saturday drills in Atlanta. Collector invoiced neighbor per hammer, strike depreciation. Contractor mailed earplugs and a mixtape of power tool beats. 24. Trash day tension hit peak weirdness in Ohio when one neighbor, fed up with overflowing bins next door, didn't complain. He decorated. Every offending garbage can left out too long got adorned overnight with giant googly eyes and passive-aggressive handwritten signs like "Feed me less" or "I feel bloated." Raccoons reportedly ignored the art. The neighbor did not. 25. Car horn tuned to match neighbor's doorbell. Milwaukee revenge for parking spot snub. Twice daily honks caused Pavlovian dashes to empty thresholds until Tulip Massacre drive-over ended the habit and the flower bed. 26. San Diego craft beer arms race. IPA seances with chanting hop names versus porter hot tub soaks. Local raccoons developed discerning palates. Animal control set sobriety traps baited with store-brand lager. 27. Senior Formula One ignited in St. Augustine when two retirees souped up mobility scooters, spray-painted lane lines, and clocked radar gun lap times. SPF 50 pit crews standing by. 28. Vinyl-sided purple monstrosity met cemetery snark. Fake tombstone reading, "Here lies good taste." Neighbor countered with inflatable wacky arm tube men. Passers-by tipped buskers, feud roll waved on. 29. Sunrise jazz trumpet collided with funeral director Gregorian chants in New Orleans. Their accidental mashup, Jazz Requiem, went viral on TikTok. Merch now pays both mortgages, proving capitalism is cheaper than therapy. 30. Anchorage snow fort tug of war. One buddy claimed squatters' rights with a lawn chair. The other hitched the fort to an ATV and relocated it 6 feet north. Emotional displacement lawsuit melted faster than spring thaw. 31. On a misty Vermont morning, an artisanal maple syrup producer accused the next-door Airbnb host of luring his sap-seeking tourists by piping synthetic pancake aroma through industrial diffusers hidden inside the hedge, claiming scent jacking cost him thousands in souvenir bottle sales. Mediation smelled a settlement. Both sides left extremely unapologetically sticky. 32. Picture suburban Dallas, where a dad mounted a radar gun at the cul-de-sac entrance and issued handwritten speeding tickets to scooters topping 3 miles per hour. The neighbor's kid, future attorney, appealed every citation with color-coded footnotes. A mock driveway trial ensued. The radar gun was impeached for lacking proper calibration credentials. 33. Somewhere along the Jersey Shore, two retirees escalated a silent sandcastle arms race. Dawn revealed a Roman Colosseum, the next dawn, a Viking longship. Tides erased them nightly, triggering sabotage accusations. Local news dubbed it granite-scale warfare, and tourists arrived with lawn chairs, popcorn, and side bets on structural integrity. 34. A Palo Alto tech entrepreneur trained his smart home to broadcast motivational quotes whenever motion sensors detected the neighbor's lawn crew. Fed up, the gardener synced his leaf blower to reply with sarcastic air horn bursts. The TED Talk versus Stadium soundtrack rattled venture capitalists 3 blocks away. 35. In Savannah's historic district, a preservation purist filed a 30-page aesthetic impact complaint because the family next door hung LED Christmas icicles. Retaliation arrived as neon flamingos and Santa hats lining the porch. The Preservation Board finally ruled the flock temporarily interpretive statuary, complete with footnotes on twinkle density. 36. Newsflash from Boise. 2 amateur meteorologists feuded over which backyard weather station produced official readings. One sabotaged the rival's anemometer with bubble gum to fake record winds. The other salted a rain gauge to invent downpours. NOAA quietly deleted emails titled "Urgent Scientific Fraud" sent entirely in Comic Sans. 37. At sunrise on Staten Island, a Broadway soprano practiced scales while the parrot rescue volunteer next door unwittingly coached 50 birds to mimic her warm-ups at quadruple volume. When she hit the high C, the sky erupted in feathery echoes. Animal control refused intervention, citing avant-garde collaboration. 38. A Tucson cactus collector swore sunlight belonged to whoever had the taller roofline. He mounted mirrors redirecting desert glare into a rival's succulent nursery. The neighbor installed a mist system, creating perpetual cloud cover. Even local roadrunners wore sunglasses while plants questioned the meaning of photosynthesis. 39. One Friday in Milwaukee, 2 craft cheese hobbyists accused each other of trademark theft over identical cheddar wheel wax patterns. A bewildered mail carrier judged a blind taste test. Verdict: both wheels tasted like existential dread and lactose. They now co-own a pop-up called Passive Aggressive Dairy. 40. A Santa Fe painter demanded the neighbor retune wind chimes to D minor to match her mural's melancholic palette. He refused and switched to recycled bottle chimes, clanging in chaotic microtonal glory. Visiting opera critics accidentally hailed the racket as post-percussion sound sculpture. 41. Deep in Appalachia, 2 cousins converted property line mowing into a GPS-tracked sport. Drone footage proved stripe symmetry, while accusations of diagonal drift flew. The local bar screened highlights like Monday Night Football, awarding bragging rights and a rusty riding mower trophy that passes hands every Friday. 42. In Orange County, a plastic surgeon complained that neighboring yoga studio incense seeped into his koi pond, giving the fish synthetic serenity. He hired an aromatherapist to de-smudge the water with counter-fragrance pellets. Koi swam in circles, apparently deciding which lifestyle brand to endorse. Instagram voted for Zen-flavored. Koi followed scented currents like influencer fish. 43. Cape Cod twist. A retired sea captain erected a functional backyard lighthouse whose beacon swept a novelist's bedroom at 2 a.m. She responded with a foghorn alarm clock blasting thriller excerpts at dawn. The tourism board now markets the street as fully immersive maritime experience. 44. One Minneapolis stargazer claimed the neighbor's backyard movie projector ruined his astronomy livestream. He switched to infrared mode and streamed silhouetted rom-com kisses to thousands of space nerds. Chat tipped heavily. Romance shot past low Earth orbit. Galactic gossip never sleeps under Midwestern stars. 45. In Duluth, an ice sculptor secretly piped hot air toward his rival's swan, melting its wings minutes before judging. Retaliation arrived mid-January. A flawless bust of the culprit, rigged with motion-activated sprinklers that soaked onlookers the moment temperatures hit thaw. Karma dripped in dramatic icicles. 46. Washington wine country witnessed vineyard owners dueling bird scare cannons. One blasting Beethoven, the other speed metal riffs. Startled starlings formed choreographed flocks, creating an unintended avian light show monetized by influencers with drone cams. Wine tasted anxious, yet impressively loud. 47. Orlando suburb drama. A theme park engineer's synchronized fireworks for his son's birthday eclipsed the neighbor's gender reveal smoke bombs. Feeling upstaged, they rescheduled the reveal for 3 a.m. HOA group chat, still reading therapy blogs as baby pictures compete with noise violation screenshots. 48. In rural Idaho, two preppers argued over whose bunker ventilation sucked in whose campfire smoke. Dueling Periscope cameras live-streamed alleged airflow crimes, unintentionally revealing secret canned peach inventories to the world. Tinfoil hats sold out countywide within hours. 49. A Nashville songwriter insisted the neighbor's air conditioning compressor hummed the hook of his unreleased track. He sampled the noise, added drums, and dropped Freon Heartbreak, which went modestly viral. Royalty talks now include the unsuspecting HVAC tech revered online as Ambient Producer of the Year. 50. Philadelphia row house mystery. A baker's prized sourdough starter, Gloria, vanished during a midnight fridge raid. Suspicion fell on the upstairs kombucha brewer whose SCOBY allegedly craved companionship. Wanted posters plastered lampposts until Gloria returned with a ransom note praising her pleasant tang. Gloria returned cultured, bubbly, and mysteriously multilingual. 51. In Reno, a retired poker dealer painted invisible borders on the communal dog park with UV-reactive chalk visible only under casino blacklights. He ticketed trespassing pups with novelty playing cards. Fellow owners slapped disco collars on their dogs, turning fetch sessions into Canine Studio 54. 52. Suburban Atlanta endured a ring camera Cold War. One family's doorbell shouted, "Smile for the algorithm." The neighbor erected a statue sporting a giant QR code, redirecting scans to a video loop of them waving enthusiastically. Delivery drivers ranked the street 5 stars for entertainment value. 53. A coastal Oregon glassblower accused the adjacent surf shack of siphoning furnace heat by leaving windows open. He built a wall of wine bottles that refracted sunbeams into psychedelic death rays, scorching surfboards. Insurance ruled it an act of artisan. Surf culture now glows like stained glass sunsets. 54. Chicago high-rise residents battled over who owned dawn's first elevator ride. Early birds queued at 5 a.m. Night owls rode one floor to reset the system. Management introduced an elevator draft lottery. Office workers placed bets. Custom jerseys now read, "Pick 7 or take the stairs." 55. Baton Rouge saw a gumbo traditionalist accuse her vegan neighbor of cultural dilution by okra misuse. The vegan unfurled a 10-foot banner proclaiming "Gumbo evolves." A live porch cook-off, live-streamed by local news, produced a compromise stew offending purists on both sides and delighting everyone else. 56. Tallahassee teens built dueling TikTok slip-and-slides. One with biodegradable soap, the other with bargain bin gravy for shock clicks. A misturn launched a slider into the rhododendrons, triggering city fines for unlicensed carnival activity. Vegetable gravy stains still haunt the neighborhood lore. 57. In Providence, a philosophy professor declared the neighbor's inflatable pool an existentially shallow body of water, lowering collective IQ. The pool owner retaliated with a floating Aristotle speaker quoting, "The unexamined life is not worth splashing." Enrollment in the professor's ethics class promptly doubled. 58. Boulder's eco-duo warred over compost prestige. One secretly planted pheromone traps in the other's bin to skew fruit fly metrics. Retaliation came via a truckload of donated coffee grounds that produced a caffeinated compost, high-powering raccoon rave culture until dawn. 59. Los Angeles hills resounded with drone banner snark. It started with "Turn down your bass." then escalated to animated sky memes featuring yawning cats. FAA issued warnings. Netflix optioned the footage. Even coyotes barked copyrights into the valley. 60. A Tampa Bay boat owner monopolized the shared dock radio with endless yacht rock. Neighbors submerged speakers, blasting whale love songs, hoping to attract manatees for distraction. Instead, fish performed synchronized tail wiggles. Seagulls critiqued the choreography with indifferent squawks. 61. Rural Ohio pyromaniacs scheduled identical 4th of July shows. Rather than merge, they offset blasts by milliseconds, unintentionally spelling Morse code that read, "Send help." The sheriff posted translations online. Poets called it guerrilla patriot poetry. Grand finale spelled oops. Fire chief applauded anyway. 62. Houston high-rise balcony gardeners feuded over sunlight rights. One hung mirrors angling beams upward. The other unfurled an awning painted like thunderclouds. Management hired an engineer to model photon allocation. Reports said the sun is free, but pettiness incurs hefty maintenance fees. Sunset Committee issued a manifesto nobody read. 63. Albuquerque python owners sparred over post-10 p.m. hissing decibels. Sound meters appeared, then acoustic foam partitions, until one snake donned a knitted silencer sleeve. Animal welfare officers reminded everyone snakes ignore mufflers. Weakly feeling circles now foster detente while serpents nap peacefully. 64. A Lexington bourbon collector swore the neighbor's wedding DJ cheapened his aging barrels with auditory turbulence. He unleashed bagpipes tuned to whiskey evaporation frequencies. Newlyweds slow danced to droning pipes. The collector inhaled angels' share like victory smoke. Bagpipes echoed through barrels like salty thunder. 65. Pacific Northwest coffee roasters on opposing duplex sides installed rival exhaust chimneys. One wafted floral Ethiopian notes, the other smoky Italian roast. Joggers swore crossing the alley felt like teleporting continents. Yelp users awarded both 5 stars for aromatic border control. 66. In New Hampshire woodland, an amateur blacksmith blocked a public footpath with an ornate, no-through walker's gate. Hiking club neighbors forged dozens of tiny skeleton keys and hid them in geocaches. Weekenders turned the trail into a treasure hunt. Dungeon Core tourism brochures basically wrote themselves. 67. A Fort Lauderdale groomer dyed client poodle's rainbow for Pride Month. Conservative neighbor countered with a banner reading, "Keep fur natural," plus karaoke sermons. Groomer added glitter top knots. Local news filmed confetti cannons at sunset. Rainbow fur trend skyrocketed on pet fashion TikTok. 68. Tulsa thrift store rivals redirected donation drop-offs with snarky sidewalk arrows. One secretly planted vintage Beanie Babies in the other's shelves, tanking curation cred. Shoppers scored odd bargains. eBay rejoiced while their friendship combusted. Beanie Baby bubble resurrected merely to pop again. 69. Hartford neighbors curated competing outdoor libraries. One stocked Pulitzer winners, the other dog-eared romance titled Hot Lumberjack's Secret Baby. Overnight mystery swappers cross-pollinated shelves into a deliciously confusing mix. Local librarians shipped popcorn for suspense. Book club turnout doubled. 70. A Key West sculptor erected a giant iron eyebrow aimed at an Airbnb blasting karaoke till dawn. Vacationers retaliated by singing eyebrow-themed anthems, closing with Smash Mouth's All-Star, dedicated to facial expressions. Tourist board handed out free earplugs labeled Stay Curious. 71. Chicago's eternal pizza rivalry oozed onto one quiet street when a deep dish devotee erected a mozzarella-scented yard cannon that puffed cheesy vapors toward a thin-crust purist's porch. Retaliation arrived as garlic oil misters, creating an invisible flavor wall. Mail carriers reported hunger hallucinations. Both neighbors gained 10 pounds of stubborn pride. 72. In Fairbanks, one homesteader claimed the aurora borealis belonged exclusively to his Airbnb guests. He mounted floodlights to erase the sky whenever the next cabin's occupant stepped outside. The neighbor counter-lasered fake northern lights onto his snow roof. Tourists now rate the street 5 stars for exclusive cosmic copyright war. 73. Two Montana ranchers clashed over whose cattle mooed off-key at dawn, allegedly ruining morning podcasts. One installed vocal training speakers broadcasting pitch exercises across open range. The other fitted prize steers with noise-canceling earmuffs. Result? A herd humming vaguely like barbershop robots, and absolutely zero improvements to the podcasts. 74. Silicon Valley suburbia saw a crypto miner blame his neighbor's energy-guzzling jacuzzi for hash rate hiccups. He published blockchain proofs of hydrothermal sabotage, then offered to pay her in Dogecoin to bathe at off-peak hours. She emptied the tub, filled it with ice, and hosted TikTok cold plunge parties powered by his stolen Wi-Fi. 75. Miami influencer commandeered the condo pool daily for bikini photo shoots, banning cannonballs for aesthetics. The retired Navy vet downstairs pumped in eco-friendly algae dye, turning the water emerald. Hashtag mermaid swamp trended, sponsorships flooded in, and the algae activist is now her brand manager, proof you can monetize petty. 76. A Denver microbrewer set out yeast traps near the neighbor's sourdough window, accusing him of wild culture poaching. The baker retaliated by piping bagel toaster aromas through HVAC vents to distract the beer. Both businesses popped up at the same farmer's market, separated by a Switzerland booth selling neutral honey. 77. Detroit classic car restorer revved a V8 every 6 a.m. sharp. Electric vehicle evangelist next door answered with a charger that played whale calls during every kilowatt hour. Neighborhood battles now feature combustion thunder versus zen. Ooh. Even pigeons pick sides, roosting according to their preferred soundtrack. 78. Maple syrup season in rural Vermont imploded when one family's taps allegedly leaned across the invisible property vein, siphoning superior sap. The rival drove aluminum spikes playing dubstep to scare the trees. Syrup tasted faintly of bass drop. Tourists queued for limited edition EDM Grade A. Forest Council sighed into pancakes. 79. New Orleans bead etiquette exploded after Mardi Gras when a local installed a pneumatic bead cannon firing leftovers into his neighbor's yard for storage. She countered by hot gluing a kaleidoscopic bead mosaic across his front steps. Permanent glitter minefield. Tour groups detour just to photograph the sparkle standoff. 80. Seattle rain harvesters argued whose barrel captured artisan drizzle. One filtered runoff through reclaimed Himalayan salt for spa hydration. The other trademarked genuine overcast vintage and slapped labels on mason jars. Eventually, both discovered their gutters fed from the same leaky condo roof. Capitalism meet precipitation plagiarism. 81. A Brooklyn rooftop. Chicken coop serenaded sunrise with clucks. Writer downstairs recorded the noises and published a Poultry Noir audiobook. Coop owner filed cease and desist for unauthorized rooster dialogue. Mediators proposed royalties and eggs. Audiobook now includes a breakfast coupon code, and noir hens enjoy fame they can't comprehend. 82. Kansas tornado siren tests landed on karaoke night as 2 households hacked city alerts to blast competing vocals. One belting country ballads, the other 80s power rock. Warning system logs showed Eye of the Twister, followed by Cowboy Take Me Gale. Meteorologists begged for mercy. Spotify watched the charts. 83. In Provo, synchronized Christmas lights escalated into a code war. One house ran hymn-timed LEDs. The other responded with dubstep strobes. The shared transformer blew twice, plunging the street into pitch-perfect darkness. Kids finally appreciated stars, while parents drafted a peace treaty powered by plain white bulbs. 84. Boise suburbs sprouted a 12-foot potato sculpture wearing sunglasses, erected by a proud Idaho native. Neighbor claimed it blocked Wi-Fi signal and planted a towering French fry obelisk in retaliation. Tourists now stop for selfies at the Starch Arch, while both homeowners secretly rake in appearance fees. 85. Maui yoga retreat host accused next-door luau caterers of polluting chakra bandwidth with tiki torch smoke. She lit sandalwood incense so thick it fogged the roast pig buffet. Guests wound up meditating over pulled pork, achieving inner peace and outer indigestion simultaneously. TripAdvisor called it holistic heartburn. 86. Las Cruces chili farmer insisted his signature aroma attracted tourists. Neighbors' scented candle shop swore her pumpkin spice stench lured buyers. Competing fragrance plumes collided above Main Street, making eyes water and stomachs growl. City Council branded the zone Smellmageddon and sold scratch and sniff maps. 87. North Dakota wind farm shadows flickered across a quilting grandma's sewing room, allegedly causing crooked stitches. She sewed a giant patchwork curtain and hoisted it on telephone poles, blocking the strobe. Turbine owner projected soothing prairie sunsets onto it, turning the argument into a drive-through art installation. 88. Kids' sidewalk chalk drawings became a battleground in suburban Denver. One resident, claiming the colorful hopscotch grids lowered property values, retaliated by meticulously drawing anatomically correct diagrams of internal organs over the chalk unicorns each morning, labeling them educational enhancement. Parents were baffled. Kids just learned where the spleen is, maybe. 89. Springfield comic fan painted a mural of a yellow family eating donuts. Neighbor, a copyright paralegal, taped cease and desist notes shaped like speech bubbles. Fan added pixelated censorship bars, calling it fair use street art. Paralegal's kids begged to keep it. Lawyers learned sometimes the kids really are all right. 90. Chesapeake crabbers floated traps exactly on the property line pier. One painted territorial red stripes on every buoy. The other trained seagulls with French fry rewards to steal rival catches. Wings flapped, pincers snapped, and local chefs praised truly free-range seafood while buying from both sides. 91. Austin film buff projected public domain sci-fi on his garage door. Next door, an indie director claimed the light bled into her auteur thriller set. She counter-projected moody shadows that stole the audience. Cars double park now to experience the accidental drive-in double feature. Tarantino tweeted envy. 92. Coastal Maine. Neighbors competed in yearly moose call contests. One installed subwoofers blasting low-frequency bellows. The other hired a professional yodeler claiming Swiss pitch lures bigger antlers. The moose ignored both, but tourists paid admission anyway. Local diner created Yodel Moose Burger, ethically sourced from absolutely zero moose. 93. Nevada desert homeowners squared off over solar panel glare. One coated arrays with disco ball tiles turning sunsets into blinding rave beams. Rival painted hers matte black heat sink, claiming patent on stealth sun. Passing pilots radioed compliments and mild complaints. HOA installed complimentary eclipse glasses in every mailbox. 94. Jersey. Autumn afternoon, dual wielders, one with a gas leaf blower, the other a mega vacuum, dualed foliage direction. Blower man sculpted swirling leaf cyclones. Vacuum lady sucked them midair, chanting, "Mine!" Municipal camera captured the ballet. TikTok crowned them yard work Hunger Games. 95. Georgia pecan season unleashed nutfall accusations. One farmer accused the breeze of transferring his pecans onto a suburban lawn. The suburbanite sold roadside pies labeled Wind Thief Edition. Farmer retaliated with a billboard reading, "Know Your Nuts Roots." Pie sales doubled. Billboard became selfie hotspot. 96. Illinois. Snowstorm. One eco-warrior used a snowblower to clear his driveway, launching powder onto neighbors' rooftop solar panels. Neighbors' smart app screamed efficiency loss, so he retaliated by dumping warm bathwater down the drive, creating an ice rink. Insurance called it glacial negligence and raised nobody's premiums, yet. 97. Pennsylvania Country Lane saw Amish buggy wheels carving ruts. Modern neighbor paved his half with glow-in-the-dark asphalt for nighttime jogs. Horses balked, refusing neon paths, causing traffic jams of beards and LEDs. Tourism Board marketed it as Cyberplane Culture Clash. 98. Boston row houses flew dueling flags. One Blue Lives Matter, the other Rainbow Progress Pride. Soon they escalated into entire LED facades. Police Blue Pulse versus Rainbow Waterfall. Unexpectedly, the light show attracted marriage proposal flash mobs that toasted both households for free. Unity via electricity bill. 99. Los Angeles hillside homeowner built a rooftop pergola blocking the neighbor's sunset view. The aggrieved party hired a sky banner plane spelling, "You blocked the money shot." Pergola guy responded with inflatable tube dancers waving at every golden hour. Instagram influencers debated whose backdrop won. 100. Fort Lauderdale blamed a sudden iguana invasion on neighbors' tropical fruit trees. Claimant installed miniature "Do Not Feed the Dragon" signs. Fruit lover erected tiny tiki bars for the reptiles. Iguanas lounged cocktail style. Local kids charged admission, inadvertently funding next school trip. Tourism slogan, "Weirder than Miami." 101. In Washington, D.C., political sign warfare escalated beyond red versus blue. One lawn sprouted daily poll number updates. Neighbor countered with fact-check QR codes leading to cat videos. Pedestrians scanned for policy, stayed for kittens. Congressional staffers stopped by for stress relief, proving bipartisanship might just be feline. So, which feud made you question humanity the hardest? Solar panel disco or robotic sidewalk rodeo? Drop your pick and your own war story in the comments, and maybe the wildest tale wins a shout-out in one of our next episodes. Hit subscribe or risk missing the madness.